Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Mad Props. I know we took a week off, and now we're audio only, and it's going to be a little shorter of an episode, but I don't want to skip 2 straight weeks. So here we are with another episode of Mad Props. Before we get started with anything, make sure you follow us on social media at Mad Props Pod on Instagram and Facebook, or follow everything Schnabel Studios on Instagram, Facebook, X/Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find this and other videos that we do on YouTube. Make sure you follow that YouTube. You can also visit schnabelstudios.com to see everything Schnabel Studios does, whether it's video, social media, or these podcasts that we do occasionally. We're getting back into it. Today's episode, I have some questions that were sent my way that I'm going to answer. Also give another update on everything going on. There's some big exciting stuff going on in the world of Schnabel Studios. So we want to give an update on that. But first, let's get right into it. Let's play the music. This is Mad Props. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Mad Props. Look at me, already messing up. You can tell I've taken a couple weeks off here. Welcome back, everybody, to Mad Props. We are glad to have you here. We're going to give a little bit of an update. I'm going to go over some questions that were sent my way as well. Obviously, if you're listening to this as it comes out, it is a little bit behind schedule as it has been recently. But we're going to try to get that more on track as the future episodes keep coming out. Do not worry, the episodes are not ending. We are not taking hiatuses or anything like that. It's just we're trying to build Schnabel Studios up a little bit more, and with that, my time has been just a little bit scarce, so it's been hard to get on the mic and record. But I do not want to take 2 straight weeks off. We did take last week off as we were really moving and grooving with the Schnabel Studio stuff, but this week I wanted to make sure I got something out there. So here we are. So we're going to answer some questions that were sent my way. I didn't have a poll for questions or anything like that, but I did open the Mad Props email recently, and there were some user questions in there. I don't know why. We didn't ask for them, but they were there. So we're going to answer those questions, no matter how old they are, and we're going to give an update on Schnabel Studios. That's actually where we're going to start. So the biggest news coming out of Schnabel Studios is that it is an official LLC according to the state of Texas. Yes, Schnabel Studios is now an actual business that you can hire and find on business account places. It is a real thing. It is not just a side hustle. It is not just a freelancing name. It is actually something that is legitimately a business for hire. This has been going on the last couple weeks. There was obviously an episode talking all about it. About 4 weeks ago, something like that. But opportunities have been growing. We're working on partnerships with different clients and stuff like that. And we have a couple clients already on retainer. And because of all that, we are starting to really build. And with the building and everything, we just decided to just go legitimate. So we are officially an LLC. It is not Schnabel Studios anymore. It's Schnabel Studios LLC. Make sure you always add the LLC to the end of it because I'm so excited to have it. But that's the biggest thing going on. So with that being said, that's kind of why last week we didn't have an episode. We had a lot of meetings. We were hiring some interns internally here as well. And it was just a tough time to also get on the mic and record an episode of Mad Props. So it just didn't happen. Will it happen in the future? Maybe. But we're going to try to keep getting these episodes out here and keep them going, keep them rocking, and keep them grooving. So that is what's been going on with Schnabel Studios. Make sure you follow us on everything because we are obviously still building and still growing. And everybody that follows us is just another way to build and grow. Okay. So other than that, I'm going to get into some of these questions. Again, this probably is not going to be the longest episode you've ever listened to in your life. Just because I'm just going to answer these questions, and that's probably going to be the end of the episode. We still have things to do today. I just want to make sure there's an episode getting out there. If you have any questions ever, you can email us at info@schnabelstudios.com. You can also email us at madprops@schnabelstudios.com. And you can email schnabelstudios@gmail.com. And then the last one you can do is madpropspod@gmail.com. All of those will funnel into the same place, which is my phone. So I'll see those. I will say right now, the madpropspod@gmail.com obviously did not get checked because there's been questions sitting there since December. It is now August of the next year. So maybe not the best place. Madprops@schnabelstudios.com is the best place to probably go if you have some questions from now on. So send those that way. And that's where we'll see them. But anyway, the first question is all the way back in December. It was after the Matt Sheldon episode aired. And it says, "Hello, Chris. Thank you for sharing the episode with Matt Sheldon. I was wondering how Matt Sheldon is as a person. I've always loved his videos and I love following his account, but I would love to know more about him outside of, or us on the other side of the camera. Thank you." That's a great question. I'm pretty sure this has been answered before without even reading that. Matt Sheldon's an amazing guy. We worked together with Hartford Athletic, and now he has moved on, and I have moved on, and he came on an episode back in December. He's an awesome dude, really nice guy, really family-oriented, loves, a very loyal guy as well. He's an awesome dude, though. If you're a big fan and you see him and he's not doing anything that may be with his family or with his team, and he has the time to come and say hello, he would be a guy to say hello to, and he would say hello back. He is very humble and understands what he is doing and who he's helping and stuff like that. So Matt Sheldon's an awesome guy. Definitely an awesome guy. So thank you for the question. All right, so the next email we have here kind of is in the same ballpark. This is from February, and I'm not even gonna say who sends these emails because I mess names up, and there's no actual names, just email addresses, and I'm not sharing email addresses on here. So I'll just say the months they're from, seeing as they're all from different months over the last 8 months. This one's from February, and this one says, "What's going on? I am a new listener to the show. I found you on Reddit." So this is definitely old because we have not put on Reddit in a long time. "I see that you work with a lot of different people. I found yours because Darren Nefsey joined your show." Well, this question's from February, and Darren Nefsey came on in 2020. So they must have really scrolled back in the depths. Okay. "I was wondering, who are the coolest people that you've been able to work with? I see that there's a lot of people that I really enjoy, and I would love to know more about some of these people." So I'm going to go with the question. I guess the question is, who are the coolest people I've worked with? So like, that's a tough one to answer because we have worked with a lot of really cool people. I'm going to go in the whole scope of my professional career, from radio to podcasting to video work and everything. We're just going to go all out and say the whole scope. We've worked with some really cool people. We've had the pleasure of working with people like Waka Flocka and Rev Run and Jalen Rose, along with like Scott Koblish, Darren Nefsey, who was just mentioned, obviously Matt Sheldon, who was just mentioned. Of course, we just recently worked with Aaron Judge and Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, and Jason Page has been a great person to work with. So I don't know how to answer the coolest people I've worked with because they've all been, to me at least, they've all been pretty nice. Like we've gotten along pretty well. Some I got along with better than others. Just meaning that like we stayed in touch afterwards, or we've worked together multiple times. Like Jason and I have worked together now 3 times, once on a podcast, 2 on video shoots. So there's that. So like, but the question I always want to answer, and I don't think I'm going to do it this time either. So the answer to the question, I don't know. If you're talking about the coolest people as most popular, I would have to say probably Aaron Judge, Darren Nefsey, Jim Obergefell, the usual answers there. Dak Prescott. We got to kind of work with Travie McCoy. Those are, I guess, the coolest names based on popularity factor. But the list that will eventually come out, and I just don't know when to put it out. It'll probably be who are the people we least liked working with, because there's definitely a list. But I just haven't wanted to put that out because you never know if you're going to work with somebody again. So I don't think I'll work with any of those people again. Actually, I know I'm never going to work with any of those people again, but no reason to start a feud over nothing. That wasn't the question anyway. So we're not going to worry about that anyway. So we're going to move on to the next question. Okay. This one says, what's going on? Didn't the last one start, what's going on as well? That's crazy. Maybe it's the same person. I didn't read the emails yet. This one's back in March, so the next month. What's going on? Just got turned on to your podcast. Really like what you're doing. Thank you. How did you get into this? I've been trying to start a podcast for a long time and want to do interviews, but don't know how to get in touch with people. I've tried doing Instagram messaging and Facebook messaging, but no one ever replies to that. And when they do, they say no thank you. How do you get people on your podcast? And how long have you been doing this? Okay, so let's start with how long I've been doing this. So I've been doing some sort of behind the mic job or show or whatever since 2013 or 14. I started at WNHU, Connecticut's #1 college radio station, 88.7. I had my own show. I also, towards the end of my time at New Haven, did the Afternoon Drive Show. I was the host of the Afternoon Drive Show. I also helped co-host a morning sports show and a couple other things. I also worked for the radio station doing the editing and making the ads and making the bumps and stuff like that. So I did a lot of stuff with radio back then. So from there, that's when we had, Waka Flocka and Rev Run and Jalen Rose and Verdine White of Earth, Wind & Fire came on, H. John Benjamin, Hannibal Buress. That's where all those came from. After that, we moved on from school, so I was off radio there, obviously. I'm no longer a student, and I started doing a podcast with a website created by a friend of the show, Dave Puglisi, called Banner Sports Journal. And it was just a Banner Sports Journal podcast. One I really wish we would have continued after Banner Sports Journal ended because we were doing pretty well. But that one, we had Vince Papali, Monica Abbott the first time. We've had her back on since on Mad Props. Allie Alberts, who was really big at the time for winning the LFL MVP and then chugging a beer on the 50-yard line or something like that. She's now a dentist. She doesn't play football anymore. I think that's all the guests we had on at that time. But we also, that actually may have been when Verdine White, around that time, it wasn't affiliated with Banner Sports Journal, but we did do a radio interview that would go to some college radio stations or locally that had Verdine White. We had Verdine White. We had Ricky Phillips, who was Ricky Phillips was the bassist for Styx. A couple other guys like that came on. Waka Flocka was a little bit after WNHU, actually. I think it was a year after WNHU, but it was for WNHU. So those were kind of the ones after that. Then I took a little bit of time off of doing it, and then in 2020, right before COVID, actually, we started sketching up, which then led to Mad Props, which leads us to this right here. So 2014, I would say. So 10 years. 10 years I've been doing stuff like this, and it's a lot of fun. I do it because I really enjoy it, and I enjoy getting behind the mic and talking, and I really enjoy interviewing people. I really enjoy getting to know people in a deeper sense than they're already known, especially people that are really known, celebrities and stuff like that. So I think that answered actually both questions of how long I've been doing it. Oh, and then how do you get people on? Well, I'm not going to just give away all my secrets here, but we kind of do the same thing you do. We just ask. We have a little bit of better connections, I would say. I've been doing it for 10 years. But the people that we don't know, we just ask. Find ways to ask them. Some people I do know already, and when I do know them, I just, reach out and say, hey, can you join? And then other people, I used to work with some agencies trying to get different people on. And that's a tough one to do. They usually want something in return, or they'll only send you people that have something to promote, so you don't really get to do what you want to do on the air. But those are the three ways that we really do it. But basically the same way you do. You just reach out to people and hope for the best. Hopefully you started something and it's going successful, because this was from months ago, so I have no idea. All right, so I have time for a few more. There are not that many more, but I don't think I'm actually going to get to all of them, because I need to continue building Schnabel Studios. So let me look through really quick and see some other good ones. Let's try to look for a more recent one. These are all kind of the same question. This one is different though. All right, so this one's more Schnabel Studios based, but it's kind of the same question. How's it going, Chris? I came across your show and saw that you had Aaron Judge on your. Sorry, let me restart that. How's it going, Chris? I came across your show and saw on your show's profile picture that there was Aaron Judge. I then listened to the episode and heard you briefly say that you worked with him. How did that happen? Was that with the podcast? Thanks. That was very weirdly worded. No, it was not with the podcast. That was with Schnabel Studios, which is our video and social media company. And how we worked with Aaron Judge is we are connected with a different company that helps with these events. And they were helping with the All Rise Foundation, and Aaron Judge put on a camp. And we worked with them to figure out how to get us there to record and edit videos for them with this foundation and this event in mind. So that's how we got with Aaron Judge on that. Same with Dak Prescott, same with Ezekiel Elliott, and the other athletes that are going to be coming up. We work with a company that does these events and hires us to go out and do it. And it was a lot of fun. All right, I got one more here, so let me skim through again. Sorry for the pauses on the skim throughs. Oh, here's a nice little basic one. Well, it's kind of basic. It's kind of the same as the last one, too. Hi, Mad Props. My name's Tyler. I'm trying to start a podcast that has a similar... It's really long, so I'm trying to skim it, and then I'm gonna brief it. Okay. So Tyler's trying to start a podcast that's very similar to what Mad Props is trying to accomplish. And basically, it's a very long one, but what it says is, how do I get started? Well, the easiest one to say is just record. Hit record on your phone, put on your headphones, and record. You don't need to get a bunch of fancy equipment to start. You know, if you look at some of the bigger podcasts out there that aren't company backed, I guess you call it independent podcasts, they don't start with the best equipment. We did start with the best equipment. As I grew as a production company, actually, that's when our equipment got better. So just get out there and start, I would say, is the best way to do it. You can take it, if you have an iPhone, just take it, put on a voice memo, and just hold it like a microphone, and you'll get pretty clear audio that way. Like, if that's what you have to do. But just starting is the best way to do it. Have a good idea as you go in. I know that coming from Mad Props is a little funny because we kind of go all over the place sometimes, but having like a good theme and idea is a really good way to keep people engaged and keep the audience coming back and knowing what they're going to get each week. Like, we like to do interviews. We haven't done an interview in quite some time, but we like to do interviews, and that's usually where we get our most audience. Sometimes these solo ones do as well. We've just had a lot of solo ones recently because it's just been busy times over here at the new LLC of Schnabel Studios. But I would say just get started and get going. If you have someone you want to work with, find the person you want to work with. If you want to do it, you can just do it by yourself, though. I learned about maybe 40 episodes in the Mad Props that I don't need a co-host. Like, I've always felt like I needed a co-host. And sometimes I do wish I had one. Like, for episodes like this, it'd be great. But I learned you just don't need one to actually get going and get working. So there you have it. Just get started, get going, get episodes out there, be consistent. There's a lot of free programs you can use to put your podcast out there. Spotify for Podcasters is the best one that I can think of. You don't need to pay for it. Just make an account and you can get your podcast out there. You do have to sign up with other things and stuff like that, but there's no payments that are going to be involved. So that's why there's so many podcasts out there. You don't got to pay to put them out there anymore, and there's just plenty of ways to get it out there. So go do it that way. That's the best way I can explain it to you. All right, maybe we'll come back with a part 2, but I have to wrap this up for this time around because I have to go to a meeting soon, and we got to get this episode out there. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sending in questions. Sorry it took me 8 months to actually see that you sent in questions, but I didn't check that email, and I didn't think people actually were sending in questions. I don't think we ever called for questions. I don't even think we really put that email out there. I don't know how people found this email. But anyway, thank you for finding the email. That means you're looking us up. But anyway, if you have questions in the future, madprops@schnabelstudios.com is going to be the best way to get them to us. So do it that way. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel or subscribe to the podcast wherever you're sitting or listening or whatever you're doing. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube and to our the Schnabel Studios YouTube, or to the podcast if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere else right now. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at MadPropsPod, or follow everything Schnabel Studios at Schnabel Studios on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter /X, TikTok, LinkedIn, and right here on YouTube. I don't know if I forgot anything. Maybe Facebook. Anywhere you get social media, you can get Schnabel Studios. So go follow us on that. We appreciate you being here. Again, we are celebrating that we are finally an LLC, which is awesome. So go support us by following us and sharing our content. We will catch you next time, next Wednesday, hopefully in the morning next time. We won't be so late, but we're getting it out there. We're getting it going. Thank you for listening again to Mad Props. We will catch you next time. See you later. Hope you enjoyed listening. Send in your questions, madprops@schnabelstudios.com, and check out schnabelstudios.com for everything Schnabel Studios if you want to check that out. Man, that was fast. All right. See you later.